Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Mattel Halo 5 Kelly figure, which is nice because now we have all of Blue Team, and that should be a good thing. We haven't done that yet, and it's awesome to have a set of Blue Team figures. However, somehow, Kelly is by far the worst figure of the bunch. Not even close. It's terrible. It's a really lousy figure, and it's very disappointing. I hate it. I hate the fact that they ruined Blue Team by giving us Fred and Kelly with a way lower QC than is acceptable, and, well, it's just not good. So let's take it off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands just about 6.5 inches, which makes it just about 16 centimeters. That doesn't sound right. Did I do something wrong? 6.25 inches, which makes it just about 16 centimeters. So it's a little bit shorter. You'll see in the photos at the end her height compared to Fred. I don't have Linda or Master Chief to compare them to because they are in Texas and I'm back in Ohio, so I can't do that, unfortunately. And if you guys watched my earlier reviews from this line of figures with Master Chief and Linda and all the other ones, you know that while they had some problems, I thought they were still a step in the right direction. They were fairly decent figures, and I was okay with it. And now that we have Fred and Kelly here, I am 100% against it. Fred had a lot of QC problems, and it just made everything else look even worse. And Kelly is by far worse than Fred. It's very disappointing. It's not a good situation. First thing, I don't know if it's obvious to you guys, but her torso armor, her chest armor, her backpack and all that, different color plastic than all of the other armor. It's dull. It's darker and it's dull. And it doesn't look good. That's very disappointing. The line work on this figure is nice for the most part. You see all that yellow going around, except up here they missed it, so that doesn't look very good. And this one is very crooked, so that's not very good. So we have minimal paint jobs, and then the QC is just not existent. It makes it look even worse. I don't know, guys. It's very disappointing to me how poorly these last two figures have been made. She's totally floppy at the chest. Again, no tension at all on that ball peg. It's totally limp. And none of her armor stays in place very well at all except for the torso. And some of it is ridiculously bad. Let's just look at that right now. Her leg armor, which was on all the other figures just fine, her lower leg armor, it won't stay on no matter what. It doesn't fit the figure very well at all. The pegs don't work, and it doesn't snap together at all. So it almost always ends up off. If you try to pose the figure, you're going to lose bits of the armor. Maybe some of them hold better than others, but I've heard other people report the same thing. It just does not want to stay on. And then, look at her boots. Look at her feet, which we knew this was a bad design in the first place. The way they are just kind of like little slippers. Hers don't even fit her. They're like, if these were real people and real shoe sizes, 2 sizes too big. They're way too big for her feet. They don't fit her at all. It looks bad. It's very disappointing. Guys, you guys know I'm like the biggest Halo fan. And there goes that piece. I just want to have good Halo figures, and they haven't given them to us. McFarlane started out, and then he squandered that line, and now we have Mattel, which is apparently just making figures for kids and don't care about the collectors out there. So what do we have to show for 15 years of following Halo and spending money on it? We have very low-quality action figures that just don't satisfy at all. It's very disappointing. Let's talk accessories, then I'll run the articulation, and then I'm going to go be upset because we can't get good Halo stuff. So the accessories include her shotgun, which is surprisingly well done compared to the other accessories in the bunch. We have the very silver paint job on the top with the rabbit paint job in red, and then we have a nice gunmetal. So the shotgun is surprisingly well detailed, though possibly oversized. I don't think it is. I think the shotgun's well scaled, despite the fact that most of the other weapons are probably too big. And then we have the pistol, which is just a chunk of black plastic, which looks pretty lousy. We have the 2 weapons pegs, which do work a little bit better on her than they do for Fred, so that's a good thing. Can she hold the weapon? Not so much. Only really in like a very static pose, and you'll see at the end. That's about it. It's not great. As far as articulation goes, the head is on a ball peg, which gives it pretty good range, but it's still floppy too, so that's no good. Shoulders do work pretty well, so that's okay. We have a ball hinge. It goes all the way around, gives us pretty good range. Bicep swivels in there, so that's pretty good. The shoulder armor does like to pop off, but it's not as bad as Fred's. Double jointed elbow works well enough. You get pretty good range out of it, so I like that. And then we have our wrist swivel and a hinge, so that's not too bad. You already saw the super floppy ball peg. The hips on this figure, you can't bring them forward. For some reason, they just don't want to go forward unless you really force it, and then it messes up the sculpt and it puts the legs out at a weird angle. So the hips don't really work going forward. They work just fine going out to the side, so I guess that's okay if you really want to do the splits. You do have a thigh swivel. You have a double jointed knee, which doesn't want to work and can't work because the thigh armor doesn't fit the figure. Not even a little bit. This part that's supposed to be all the way over here is right in line with the joint. Just doesn't fit. And it's not like I pegged it in wrong. It's pegged in all the way. It just doesn't fit. And then you already saw the ankle. The hinge works nicely, but the rotation doesn't, so the foot sticks off at a weird angle, and when you put the armor on, it augments that angle, and it looks even worse. So ultimately, this is a lousy figure. There's almost no redeeming qualities other than it's a Blue Team member, and we need Blue Team. That's it. I'm totally, thoroughly disappointed in this line, and hopefully 343 jumps on Mattel and says, listen, we want you guys to make good products, not shitty products, and that's not acceptable. So I hope they do that. I don't know if they're going to. This seems like a huge step in the wrong direction. We had decent figures in the first bunch. Why won't that go on? We had decent figures in the first bunch, and now they're just worse. Whatever. I give up. I'm done. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about movies, TV shows, video games, action figures, all kinds of fun stuff. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And in the meantime, keep collecting.